Am I the villain for refusing to babysit after my sister's lies? My sister and I always had a good relationship. At least, that's what most people would have said if they saw us together. We grew up close, shared secrets, and stood by each other through the ups and downs of childhood. She was my older sister by 4 years, a confident and ambitious woman who always seemed to have things figured out. But despite her many great qualities, there was one flaw in her that always drove me crazy. She was chronically late. It wasn't just a 5-minute kind of late. No, she could easily be an hour or more behind schedule without so much as an apology. Over time, I learned to work around it, until she became a mother, and our dynamic shifted dramatically. Suddenly, she was relying on me to help her with babysitting, and her tardiness became more than just an annoyance. It became a serious problem. The first few times she asked me to watch her daughter, Emma, I agreed without hesitation. Emma was a sweet, curious little girl with big brown eyes and a smile that could melt the hardest heart. Spending time with her was a joy, and I didn't mind stepping in to help my sister. At first, my sister was only a few minutes late when she returned, and I brushed it off. "Traffic," she would say with a sheepish grin, and I'd nod, pretending it didn't bother me. But as the weeks went by, her lateness became more frequent and extended far beyond a few minutes. One time, she was supposed to return by 6 p.m. after running some errands. By 7 p.m., she was nowhere to be found. I called her and she didn't answer. By the time she finally showed up at 8:15, I was seething. "Sorry," she said casually, like it was no big deal. "I got caught up with a friend." Caught up with a friend? While I had been stuck at home, missing dinner plans with my own friends, that was the first time I realized that this arrangement wasn't going to work if things didn't change. Despite my growing frustration, I continued to help her. I loved Emma too much to say no. But every time my sister was late, it chipped away at my patience. It wasn't just about the inconvenience, it was about respect. She didn't seem to respect my time or the effort I was putting into helping her. One day she called me in a panic. "I need you to watch Emma tonight," she said. "I have to work late." "Okay," I agreed, even though I had plans. She promised she would be back by 5 p.m. I rearranged my schedule and canceled my plans to accommodate her. But when 5 p.m. came and went, I started to worry. By 6 p.m., I was annoyed. By 7 p.m., I was furious. She finally showed up at 7:30, unapologetic as always. "Sorry, I lost track of time," she said, brushing it off. I couldn't hold it in any longer. "You promised you'd be back by 5, I said, my voice shaking with anger. "I canceled my plans for you." She looked taken aback, as if she hadn't expected me to be upset. "It's just a couple of hours," she said defensively. "Why are you making such a big deal out of it?" The final straw came a few weeks later. It was a Saturday. A few months later, I found out through a mutual friend that my niece's birthday party was coming up. I hadn't received an invitation. Hurt but unwilling to make a scene, I bought a gift for Emma and decided to drop by unannounced on the day of the party. When I arrived, Emma was thrilled to see me. "Auntie," she cried, running up to give me a hug. I handed her the gift, and she beamed with joy. But my sister wasn't as happy to see me. After the party, she pulled me aside. "Why are you here?" she asked coldly. "I wanted to celebrate Emma's birthday," I said. "I didn't get an invitation, but I thought she would want me here." "You had no right to show up uninvited," she said angrily. "You're trying to undermine me in front of my daughter." I was stunned. "Undermine you? I just wanted to make Emma happy." Things went downhill from there. A few weeks later, I heard through another family member that my sister had been spreading false stories about me. She claimed I had been inappropriate with Emma, a lie so outrageous that I could hardly believe it. I confronted her. "How could you say something like that?" I demanded. "You know it's not true." She didn't deny it. "I needed the family to take my side," she said coldly. "You've always been the favorite, and I'm tired of it." I felt like the ground had been pulled out from under me. How did things come to this? In the end, I had no choice but to distance myself from her. Most of the family supported me after I told them the truth, but the damage was done. My relationship with my sister was shattered. I focused on rebuilding my life. I still loved Emma and hoped that one day, when she was older, I could explain everything to her. As for my sister, I held out hope that someday we could reconcile. But for now, I needed to move on. Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones who hurt us the most. And sometimes the best thing we can do is walk away, not out of anger, but out of love for ourselves.